You know what really grinds my gears? People in the 19th century. Why don't they get with the freaking program? It's called an automobile, folks. It's much faster than a horse.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 9 of Randumb Snax. We have a smaller group today, so we should be able to get everybody's ideas and everybody's thoughts and
all
everybody's
the snacks.
all the snacks. We're gonna call this the buffet episode. So if everybody wants to just say who's here today, so we can get that out the way.
Well, this one you'll be able to see.
Okay, then that works. Never
A
mind.
lot less
So yeah, so this
But I didn't
episode,
get to do my introduction.
we don't care. So today's episode is called the STS episode, Shoot the Shit. So we're going to talk about anything and everything anybody wants to talk about. Whether it bothers you, whether it doesn't bother you, things that people did that bothers you, why do people do certain stuff. I have a lot of those.
Me too.
So whatever's on your mind. Well, since you
So,
said me too, you
Is
can
this
start.
like an after work and everybody just like...
Also, remember not to say names.
Censorship.
Oh, well, you were.
You can say names, just be ready to back it up.
First off...
So
Got a lot
anybody,
of problems with all these people. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know who this Corey is, but shit.
so who wants to start? Come on, everybody.
I don't know what you're talking about, so what's the...
Yeah, can you give us an example, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, one thing that bothers me, why do people say that they want you to be open and honest as far as, like with me, it would go with work. If they want criticism, why do they get butthurt and get
When
mad
you're honest.
and treat you different when you're being honest? Does that bother anybody else?
Yes.
Okay, let's go from there then. We'll start there.
Nice.
Okay. I don't know what else to say. You go.
Okay, I'd like to just chime in.
And be honest with me.
Shut up.
You mean with us?
Yeah.
I would like to complain about people who are in school who are going to learn in a specific field. When you go to shadow said person, the person is rude to you. Why? Why? You are trying to learn in a field, and if you have someone that you're supposed to be shadowing, they immediately complain that they don't want a student.
I
Why?
think something like that is all because, like, so say you are like obviously like a medical student, right? And you're shadowing that person. They're supposed to be teaching you, yet it's all about job security. So there's a possibility that you could take their job, right? So they're going to teach you, yes, but they're going to be a dick to you also because, like, maybe you learn everything from them, but you're not going to want to work at that hospital because they feel like their job isn't.
But say this field is lacking in people, and they are in dire need of these people. Why go and be a jerk to them when they are trying to learn so that they can help influx the field with the new people?
Yeah, you got to train them up.
Yeah, and
Stop.
so you
feel
guys,
like
you guys
you're
can't. I was like, you guys can't see it, but Ricky's raising his hand like we're in school.
Yeah,
so
right.
let's go.
We were talking about school, so I might as well just fit the program here. But now this is completely coming from a manager's perspective. I'm sorry. However, it's a personality trait, and it's the personality of this individual that can't handle the workload of also completing their stuff and doing their tasks while showing someone else what they've learned and passing that knowledge down. Like, some people can handle it, some people can't. Some people are phenomenal at training. Some people will set you up for failure because they're frustrated.
Fair enough.
I feel like it's
But-
more of an insecurity thing, if anything.
But say there's so many students allotted to so many professionals. Why not say, I don't want a student during this shift?
Yeah, but have you ever had to train or teach someone?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know how like you have your certain pace that you might want to do something,
Yes.
and then some people can't handle that aspect of it's going to slow me down to teach this person because I'm used to this pace.
Then speak up during
And that's another
the
thing.
allotment, like of disbursement of students. Say, I don't want a student this time. pass them on to someone who's willing to teach?
It all depends on the person too, because like with me as a manager or a supervisor in a supervisor position, I have my certain aspects of how I want things done. I may not want to train that person. In my head, I'll say it or whatever, but I bite the bullet and take it or whatever.
But you're only hurting the student who's wanting to learn because...
But you get that, some people don't.
Yeah.
It depends on their personality, I feel.
It comes down to what it sounds like the person that was training you at that point was not a good teacher or was not ready to have a student. Because I've done a lot of training with football players, different dental assistants, and things like that.
And they all hate you.
Unilaterally. Let's get but there are those, especially certain procedures, where it's like those are procedures where it's like I'm ready to train them, and it's like even if things go wrong, I'm calm and collected. It's like, all right, do this next. I'll jump in if you can do this, if you can't handle it, things like that. But then there's always those other procedures or other situations where it's like I'm doing way too much stuff at the time, and you're just like, all right, stop, let me handle this. So I recently had a student shadowing me at our office, and it was actually a denture case that went really kind of sideways. So I was partway through, and I feel right, like literally, their smile was crooked. So I feel I handled it pretty well. I actually told the student, I was like, hey, why don't you go check out what Lizzie's doing right now? She's in the middle of a procedure. And I was like, and I'm gonna finish this one up, and then I'll come get you later. And that way, the student themselves didn't feel the pressure that I was under at the time, because I had to explain to this patient, it was like, hey, your denture kind of sucks. We got to start over. It's going to be like a month and a half before we're done. Then the student didn't have to go through that. But if you have a teacher that's not ready for that kind of situation, then you're going to feel their stress and their pressure underneath it. And they're going to start to blame you for it. Like, I had her in there, so I couldn't do this and da-da-da-da. And then they're going to start kind of doing the blame thing. So I think it does come down to the actual teacher themselves, for the most part.
Yeah, because like with me, when I'm training somebody, me personally, I've been called a polite asshole. Because I'll teach you, and then I'll watch you do it, and then I'll teach you, and I'll watch you do it. But then after a while, after you've seen them do it enough times, it's like, why aren't you catching on to this or whatever? So I'm like, dude, or like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I just feel like I'm not doing this because it's like, you're doing it right. Well, I'm just trying to be okay and don't second guess yourself. It's like, I don't need you to second guess yourself. Trust yourself. If you fuck up, it happens. It's part of the process.
That's fine. But there's like what if there's no communication?
Then that's on your teacher. Yeah, that's on your teacher.
But it sounds like maybe that's how. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Phil.
Oh,
go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go with you guys because I have had trainers that are like total dicks or just didn't seem to care. And I'm like, I'm part of your company, and part of my success is the company's success. So it's like, why aren't you like putting more effort in? Why do I have that attitude? So like when I had jobs where I was in charge, like training, I always make sure I was available. If they had a question, I tell them, if you need anything, I'll be right there with you. If, you may not get it the first day, you may not get it the second day, you might not even get it the third day, but you will get it. So it's like, if you have that attitude, you can be better. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, some people, maybe that person was having a bad day.
And that's how I am too. Like, I feel like people, if you're just an asshole direct to them, they won't get it or whatever, or they'll self-doubt themselves. And then, like, I've had people tell me, it's like, oh, there's been times when you were training me and I didn't get it, but you made me feel comfortable. I said, because it's like, I can yell at you because you're not getting wrong, but what is that going to solve? Me giving my energy. And then if I'm yelling at you, what are you going to do? Oh, fuck this guy because he's yelling at me. I'm not going to want to listen to him. So, like I said, I politely be an asshole to show you, like, this is what I want you to do or this is how you do it. But I'm not going to make you feel as if everything has failed and you're not going to catch on at all. But I think with most people, people that train don't take in effect that if you're impatient with a person, like, what are you even there for? Like, you've been there longer than that person. Yeah. If you're impatient with that person and like this and that, you yell or you have an attitude or anything like that, they're not going to catch on. And not only are they not going to catch on, they're going to feel like, well, maybe this isn't for me because I can't get anything. And then that's not going to lead you anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to ask you, April, was this the first time this has happened?
No, it's happened enough to, I would say like more than probably like 90% of the time when you're placed into a setting where you're training, and you're only training for, I mean, like we'll say one day in one specific area, and so like you only had that one encounter with that person.
Did you go to somebody that was like higher up over that person?
No, you don't really get a chance to complain when you're in school.
See,
I mean, after the fact you can, or you can so much, but it doesn't
and that's what I
really
feel
like resolve the issue. It's like we're there to learn.
Yeah, but how can you, that's the thing. Like that's also on the school. Then
That's
how can you learn if there's no one for you to go to complain? I know a lot of people always like, well, I'm just going to be quiet because like if I complain, nothing's going to happen. No, like with me, I know we live in that society where it's like, just don't say anything, just keep quiet. You be happy you're learning, or be happy you're in that. No, fuck that. If I feel like you're not doing what you need to do to teach me, or you're not doing what you need to do for me to do the job well, I'm going above you. And if that person gets mad, so be it. Like, you're not doing your job. You know what I mean? Then a lot of people forget, I think when they get comfortable in a position, they forget that they were in that same position. So it's like,
that's the hard time that I have, like, placing all of that stuff is like, you were once in that position. Like, why treat students so poorly when they just want to learn?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it happens like so much in the field that I'm in. Like I told you, it's like 90% of the time you'll get a shitty person, and you're like, okay, well, I just have to make it through this 12-hour.
See, and that's the thing, like,
you know,
yeah, you need to like not telling you what to do, but just if that's how you feel, like if you're not catching on, or this person is doing it, you need to tell them about it, because that's not your fault, because you want to be comfortable and feeling the best of your ability that you're able to do it. And if that person is being an asshole to the point that you're not learning anything, or you feel like you're uncomfortable, even though you've been like 12-hour shift is a long time. So if you're doing it for 12 hours, you should at least feel comfortable with one or two things. Yeah. If that person isn't doing it, fuck them. You need to go love them.
And it's always like when you complain to your superior, it's always like, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like and then you go to the next, and I mean, and then it's over, and then you go to the next week, and you hope that you get someone that wants to teach you. And sometimes it does happen, and sometimes, most of the time, it's just like repetitive. Yeah, and it really, I think, depends on like the specialty. I'm trying not to be like too specific, but like it's like
just don't name names.
Yeah, it's like
she's trying not to tell you guys. She's trying to secure that whole bag.
I know, I'm like so not. I don't know. It's happened everywhere that I've been. To be honest with you, and
I'm starting to think it's like the field itself.
I think it is the field itself, and it's just it's just so sad because everywhere is like dying for nurses, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go in and you're like defeated every single week,
and that's why I feel like that might be the competitive aspect of it, because your field is dying for the personnel or whatever. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, like, obviously if you don't have that many people, it's easier for people to have that wiggle room to what they make. Now if they're able to fulfill that position more, what does that mean for them? They're not gonna get as many raises because there's more people. So if they can discourage not everybody, but some people, just a little bit enough, that's more money for their pockets, because they're worried about them. They're not worried about you. Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, even with like in that field, there's not even a guarantee you're going to work at that hospital.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's like I have no intention in going into like critical care at all. It's my requirement to fulfill for this semester, and it's just like already, I don't know, discouraging. Like going into my first week, like, I don't know, being brought down by, unfamiliar territory. Because I have never seen the stuff that I saw this week, and I was just kind of taken aback.
So it discourages
It
you
did.
in a big way. So
And
I feel like
I'm discouraged for the rest of the semester because all of it is critical care. And previous was the fun stuff like specialties like labor and delivery.
my advice
other
to
things,
you,
and
it's like my advice to you, fuck them. Fuck whoever's teaching you.
Yeah.
Take in everything you can take in. And like with me, Vince and DJ, we walk in with we're the shit. You know what I mean? We might not know that much about it.
Yeah.
We might not, but fuck it, we're the shit or whatever. And as long as you keep your head held high, and then you keep going or whatever, take in whatever you can. Don't let that person discourage you. You'll be fine. I feel like you'll be fine.
Yeah, just I would say learn as much as you can from them, even if they're not devoting the right amount of time to it. Watch how they work and see what they're doing, and just take whatever tools and tricks that you can from them to keep going. Because nursing is super competitive. Like, there's not enough nurses, but it's hard enough just to get through the schooling. Like, even my ex-girlfriend was a nurse, and it was the same thing when she was in school. Because I'd see her, like, once every 2 weeks. Because she was constantly working, studying, tests, and stuff like that. And so, I would say, if they're not taking the time actually training properly, just do your best to pick up whatever you can, and then use that to add to your own skill set. Until you get that teacher that's willing to sit down with you and actually.
Because another thing, as people, we always often forget that like we're always afraid to mess up because it's something new to us. If this person isn't teaching you the way you feel like you should be taught, like he said, take pieces from them or whatever. If you fuck up, oh well.
Yeah.
Because if you mess up, like if you mess up, if that person is going to teach you, they might get frustrated. If they're not going to teach you, somebody else is going to notice or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, hey, look, it's a part of it. Like, you messed up, this and that, but this is what you should do or whatever. And it's a way of getting around from that one person not teaching you. At least somebody will pick up. Because after a while, somebody has to pay attention to you. You know what I mean? Even if you feel like you're not getting it from that person, you're going to get it from somebody.
It's all about not being afraid to fail forward either.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But that's like human nature. We're always afraid to fail or whatever.
Yeah.
Failure.
Afraid of like not knowing. I don't know.
Failure is not an identifier. Failure is an experience that helps you grow. So don't let whatever that person is doing to you affect you long term, because it's just going to be for the moment. Because in the next semester, you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
What was it Yoda said? Failure is the greatest teacher.
Yeah.
It's one of those like that's.
I was like, whatever. Yoda is the greatest teacher.
That's just like it's what you want to do.
Star Wars movies.
I always feel like it's what you want to do. If you mess up, like I said, if you mess up, oh well, somebody's going to teach you or whatever. But this is what you chose, and this is what you want to do. And like, if this is your dream, go for it. And I feel like if somebody is not doing their part to help you with your dream or whatever, don't let them get to you to that point, because then you're putting that person in a position where they have power over you and your decisions. So, like I said, I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, fuck them. I'm going to do it, so.
Yeah. Nursing school sucks, by the way.
Bummer.
I hear you.
It's emotional trauma.
PTSD.
Yeah. That's
You're
me.
not wrong.
Yeah.
What are you
to
gonna
say like
what
you're
are you
ready
saying
for
everywhere?
Oh no, I
Something
don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
It's the emotional trauma
I
that
can
gets put
handle the
on you
viscera, but the high
in
school
nursing
bullying?
school. Yeah, it's exactly
12
that. It's
hours.
like, yeah, it's like the instructors don't. They just want to pick out everything that's wrong with what you think, and then sometimes not even saying like, "Hey, this is what you did right. This is what you did wrong. This is what you can do better." It's just like, you're wrong.
Well, I
So
feel
you
like-
have to like pick and choose instructors based on like what they're capable of.
Like their mindset.
A lot of those
But
people that
it's
I feel
like-
like think like that too are just like that whole power struggle
Mhm.
aspect. They never had power a point
Yeah.
or time in their life, and now they have it, so
Yeah.
they're like gonna
No,
use it
I
against
completely agree. It's
Straight
like
to my head.
I always say it's like an emotionally like abusive relationship. Like they'll rip you a new one, and then the next day they bring you donuts, and they're like, "Sorry, we were so mean to you."
That's
It's
not-
like makeup for like
Yeah.
what they did to you the day before. In no way does it compensate for like what they ripped you for.
Mm.
But you're like, okay, I
It's-
guess we'll just keep going. You
It's
know,
like those-
it's just it. I can't explain like how difficult like nursing school is unless like you've lived it. It's honestly like the most trying emotional, like, it is like PTSD, like, you have those instructors that you're just like, oh, I never want to be in a room with you ever again after this. I mean, honestly, like, that's how I feel. Like, you see them, like, yes, you're a terrible person. You see them walking down the hall, and they're like, oh, hi, how are you today? And I'm like,
Fuck off.
are you talking to me? Like,
no way.
did you just
came
bring
up
me a
and
new
said
one?
that.
Did you just give me an F on something that I just did? And, like, you're now consoling me for it? I don't know. It is honestly, like, emotional abuse, because you're just like, you take it, you reap the benefits of it, said donut, and then you're, like, back in it, like, for more abuse. And
I
that's,
want you to
it just,
know you're in a safe place.
I know, it just, like, continues. It's, like, this horrible, like, pattern that just, like, keeps
That's
going
pretty much
on.
anywhere.
You're like,
that's like anywhere you
Yeah.
go. It's like those places where it's like, for example, like I've worked in a lot of retail, and then like when things go bad, they go bad, and then the next thing you know is, oh, here's pizza.
Yeah, that's the hospital policy
go-to.
too.
There you
Like,
go.
hey, we know you just had a shit shift. Here's some free pizza on us.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh, that makes up for all the fucking CPR we just did.
I just died yesterday.
You know, yeah. All the
Just
patients
so you
dying.
know,
like,
if
yes,
you-
I will take that fucking free
If your
pizza.
job offers you pizza,
Uh-huh.
they're really trying hard to keep
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
We were
That's
making the
some bullshit.
nursing role look.
It's pizzas
I know,
everywhere.
I'm
It's long
sorry.
ass.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. Like, I love,
It's reality.
like, people. Obviously, like, DJ knows, like, I've had to deal with a lot. But, yeah, it's like all the politics that get involved, like, between you and patient care is
You and what you
insane.
want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with stuff like that too, it's more or less like they haven't discouraged you enough to where you feel like you're gonna stop, right? You're
No,
gonna keep on going.
absolutely
Yeah.
not.
So
My goal in life is to prove them wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Now,
So I have
because-
that same way because I'm like
Mhm.
when people say that I can't do something, I'm like okay,
Watch
so
me,
then,
bitch.
and then I'll do it. And then I'll do it, and then it's like my whole ego is like, you can suck my dick.
With authority.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I always find
Okay.
that straight, like bureaucracy, straight control, it's never going to work because you're always stuck in a process that's been done to simplify and make things less costly. That benefits the higher ups, but all the people, all of us, do all the work in the ground, and like you said, all the patients that are getting affected by you, and all the stuff that you have to deal with, and you know that is the right way. So I think if you know the best way to get around something, you should trust your instincts.
And I get that too, but then you get those bosses that like, how could you do this? I couldn't even do that. Smarter than you.
And they're stuck, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like thinking
Yeah.
about moving up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow, that was deep.
Right.
I know, sorry guys.
No, that was
No,
good.
that's-
That was good.
Kicked us off on a good one.
Anybody else have anything? No?
I have something.
What
All
really
right, let's
grinds
go.
you gears?
You know what really grinds my gears? I see it almost every day. Is people driving through yellow lights until it turns red. Still go. And it's like, where are the cops? Like, these are like tickets for
Something.
the state can collect
Where are
this.
my
They
cameras?
can
The cops are running the red lights too.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like the?
To
You know what
yellow
makes me
light
mad? It's the cops that run the red lights, turn on their sirens just
Yeah,
through that red light,
I've
and
seen
then they
it.
automatically turn
Yeah.
it off once they run that red light.
I've seen that.
I've seen that so many times, and it annoys me so much. Like, I just feel like it's another like power hungry thing.
Yeah,
It's like
that's-
you just think you can just go, like do whatever you
You
want.
liars!
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me that.
It shouldn't annoy me that much, but it annoys me a lot. Like, I just see it all the time. I'm like, are you serious? You couldn't just stop at the red light?
So I want some clarity on this because there is a window where it is legal. Tell me what you typically see. Like, is the last minute
Oh.
yellow change red immediately?
It's
Yeah.
like our light turned green and they're still going through the intersection. Like the last
Yeah.
guy's pulling from the end of his intersection
No.
into the middle of it and it's turning green.
And that's where a lot of T-bones happen. And they look at you like, what were you doing? What were you doing?
Yeah. And the guys,
You were
there's
just
always
as
someone
hard as
following the
I
other
was.
one. They all have the same mentality. They want to get through the light.
Yeah.
So it becomes like a line. And so the line has to wait for the person in front of them. Eventually you get like what you see all the time is people taking advantage of it.
Oh yeah.
And so if
That
there was
happens a lot.
cop posted there.
And there's that happens a lot with the underpasses too. How people are just taking, so now nobody can move because it's like 7 cars past the underpass. It's like, where were you going? You went just to stop. Like, what was your idea and your thought process on that?
So this is a fun one because that's me a lot.
You're that guy?
I won't admit to speeding, but generally I have to make a judgment call on if I'm going to slam on my brake and try to stop before it turns red, or be like, you know what, there you have to speed up, so I'm probably going to make it through anyway.
My dad always taught me when I was driving the point of no return. Like, it's like if the light hits yellow and you're like at the intersection, keep going.
You can keep going,
right?
Yeah.
If you have through it,
if you have enough time to stop, you should stop. But I do want to actually mention, because I was just thinking about this earlier, right down the street by our gym, there's an intersection where there's an accident like every 4 days.
Right.
Somebody hits something or someone else.
Is that
What is it?
more in like Auto Mall, like
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right there, right over by that shoe.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, it's not that hard. Like, I do this every day.
That's how I feel about people that don't know when to go at a 4-way stop.
Yeah.
They don't follow the rules.
Yeah. It's like,
Everybody takes a turn.
you got here first, why aren't you going?
It's only supposed to be like if you get there at the same time, the person on your right is supposed to has right away.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like everybody goes from the right. Like if you get it at the same time, the first person to the right goes. But if 4 people come at the same time, nobody moves. So I'm always like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna sit here because you guys. And then everybody else after me can go.
Everybody's doing that stop and go thing.
I feel we need more of you on the road. It's just like, just go.
Yeah.
Get this road.
Guess we're taking it.
But then they hit Wetmore.
because they want to run the red light.
Is that the same one with the motorcycle?
It's the same circle.
I'm not sure if it was. I heard you guys talking about it, but I don't know where that one was.
Broadway one.
Oh, no, that's way
Yeah, that's way east.
Oh, is this the one?
We're talking right over by the Choose Gym over there. By the automobile.
Literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There was another one earlier today or yesterday. There was another accident. And I only saw one car, but it was like trashed. And I was like, they either already scooped up the other car or you ran into the tree. And I was like, either way.
Dude, those tow trucks are ready. They're like, hey, I'm going to be at Wetmore today. I got it. There's going to be at least one.
I'm like, bro.
We're going to make this money.
Maybe it comes down to judgment, I guess.
Let it be more than a 5-mile trip. Come on.
Take the long way.
Right.
Just stay away from that intersection. It's mine now.
Like, I know you got in an accident today. Let's just take the scenic view. Let's relax. Breathe. You want a donut? We stop at QT right there on the river.
Man. So anything else? Anybody else got anything? No?
I would say my biggest gripes, to going around the table for it, would be people gossiping about other people.
That's been going on forever.
You work in the dental field, man. Come on.
Stop that.
Thank you, Ricky. Everybody's gossiping everywhere. And it's just like, I don't care if somebody sucks at what they're doing. That just means that they suck at it. Don't talk about it afterwards and things like that. I do try to hold to the creed of talk shit to somebody's face, but be nice behind their back kind of thing.
I get in trouble for that. People like, how could you say that to me? Would you rather me say it behind your back?
Yeah. And I joke all the time, especially with our new assistants and things like that. My favorite thing is I call them Rookie because they get really worked up and panicked over something. It's like, oh my god, I dropped the template, broken. I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, calm down, Ricky. Let me show you what to do. But I do that. But then if I'm talking to the boss or to the doctor, I'm like, they're doing great. And I was like, again, they want to do everything right. Everybody does when they first get in there, but you've only been there for like a week. It's like it's cool. If I haven't seen everything, I've gotten pretty close.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole thing is like people that can't take constructive criticism.
Yep.
Because I can be 100%, because I'm a blunt person now. So if it's on my mind, I'm going to say it. And it's like, I don't mean to be a dick about it, but it's like, this is the severity of the situation. This is what you need to do. This is what needs to be changed.
But I don't consider that gossip, though. That's it's very truthful and blunt, like you said.
So, but that can turn into gossip.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, 1 minute, you be like, telling a person, well, this is what you need to do, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, they're like, hey, such and such said that you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Really? When? So it's like
Yeah, when it gets to that level, it's
constructive criticism can turn into gossip because that person can't take what you're saying to them.
Yeah, there's always a he said, she said, and it's like, look, I don't care, get the job done.
Man, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that's I feel like that's anywhere that you're gonna have like an office setting that is gonna be like that. It shouldn't be that way, being so because a lot of office settings are small, but it ends up everything turns into gossip, which is dumb.
I was they were trying to train us to be better employees, and one of the things that we were supposed to learn is how to talk about people. So if we had an issue about someone, we're not supposed to talk to other people about the issue. You're supposed to talk to that person about the issue. And they show like arrows, like you want to go, like the arrow directly to that person is a lot shorter than going to all these other people, and then someone from that group goes back to that person.
And then the story always gets inflated no matter what. Like, again, if since we're all at the table, if I was going to say something about Ricky, I can turn over here and be like, man, Ricky messed up. And then she can turn over there and do the whole telephone thing where it's like, man, Vincent's so mad at Ricky because he messed up. And by the time it gets over around the table to Phil, it's like, dude, I heard Vincent and Ricky went out back and were fighting shirtless against snakes. And I was like, snakes? I'm like, what? I don't participate.
First off, it was on the roof. Right?
Second, I had a cape on.
Yeah. Like you said,
there's a weird look in his eye.
High school gossip and stuff like that. And it's like, I kind of get it. They're kids. I don't know what they're doing.
But that's the thing.
It's like workplace.
We carried high school gossip into an adult workspace.
Yeah.
So then you could tell who were the ones that were like, I feel like the ones that were insecure in high school and the ones that talked the most by how they act in the workplace. Because there's been plenty of times when like stuff like that will happen. I'll say this, and by the time it gets back to me, they're like, hey, I heard you said this and this. No, the fuck I didn't. This is what I said. And they're like, well, why did you say that? Because this is how I felt. So, but, yeah, that's nobody graduates from high school, really. I feel
No.
Right.
I feel like when you are in the workplace, like, that a sense of, like, chain of command, like, should be enforced. Like Andrew was saying, like, you go directly to that person. If it's not resolved, then you go to the higher up and have, you should have a system wherever you are. Like,
have a moderator.
If this didn't get resolved with the person, like I confronted them, then you should go higher up to whatever, level you have to. And if that doesn't get resolved, then go higher up. Like, it should follow a specific, like, chain of command.
What bothers me, I was like, what bothers me about that is like when you do go higher up, then those people that are in those management positions, how they feel a type of way, and it's like, well, why did you go to this person? Because you did nothing.
Yes.
So why are you mad at me for me going to you? And you know what I mean? And it's stupid. They get so butthurt because, well, you should have just came to me. I did. You did nothing. I went above you. I got my results. That's not on me. You know what I mean? Yeah, people get on my nerves.
Especially the whole two sides to a story thing.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And that's like when I'm having meetings with my boss. I hate it when he's write this down. I should have to write it down. Like, this is what happened. I can remember it off the top of my head because that's when I got pissed off. So, and then like if you go off the rails as far as like anger or whatever, then you're in the wrong. And I get it, but like I said, we're all human. If you tell a person over and over and over X amount of times, you're gonna get mad. Why? Because you try to be patient. You try to be patient. You try to be patient. They still didn't get it. So now you're angry or whatever. And then as soon as that one time you go off the rails, now you're the enemy because that person didn't want to listen. But damn it, work sucks.
Is that what this podcast is doing?
Yeah, I was going to say, man,
all of our grants are about work.
Yep.
Are we happy with our jobs?
Is anyone? I guess one, not to sound like an ageist, but like when wintertime in Tucson is the worst because that's when all the snowbirds come.
Oh God, yes.
And these people, like, I know you're like live the life and whatever, but like you're just driving you're driving really slow, you're slowing me down, or you're driving like you can't because you're like these little tiny old ladies are driving behind this wheel. They're like sitting down like this, so you can't see. What are you doing behind that car? And you can't see anybody. And
You're driving a Ford F-150 when you should be in a little Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Little shit.
My thing that gets them on there is like, you're driving a Camaro. Drive a Camaro.
Yeah.
So
Not a
many numbers
Pinto
on the
lady.
speedometer. Why did you stick a pin?
And then like they act like they're the only ones on the road. Like they'll just drive like I'll be in a roundabout and they'll just like plow right through. It's like,
That's
dude,
right. Yeah.
slow down.
They forgot the rules of the road. Yeah, like left, fast, right, slow. not hard to remember. Like how, I mean, I figure
Turn
we've all
signals
been,
are there for a reason.
I figure we've all been taught that left lane is fast, right lane is slow. Yet, like, why?
Some people take advantage of that too, because you can be in the left lane going fast, and then somebody's still on your ass.
Yes, that's true.
I'm already going 85. What do you want me?
Yeah.
Hey, speed limit is a guideline. Let's go.
You know he's following you.
Yeah.
You're his guideline.
It's like, I'm going 10
They call
over.
it
I can't go.
convoy.
Start the convoy. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
It's like 10 cars. Oh my god.
What annoys
might
me
go
is
home.
like when you get on the
Let me go home.
interstate and you don't drive fast, like to merge,
Oh, yeah.
into a lane.
And they're
I'm
trying
like,
to merge in at
you
35
have-
miles an hour.
You have to accelerate, pretty close to the speed limit when you're getting onto the ramp. Like you do, you have to accelerate, like so you can merge onto traffic.
A good example of that is like out here. So for you, those of you who don't know, we're all in Tucson, Arizona. So an area is
Allegedly.
area.
Ain't nobody coming over here trying to track me down.
So an area is like where that what is it, Ajo, where that In and Out is or whatever. When you're trying to get on, you have to turn onto the on ramp. So many trucks have almost ran me off the road when I'm going the speed limit to speed up. When they had plenty of space in the left lane, you're supposed to merge to the left to let the people coming on or whatever, and then they honk at me like, "What am I supposed to do?" So it's like,
because the merge lane is only like really, it's really short around that area, so you're like,
it's like 30
really
feet.
accelerating, like trying to push through, and there's like no way for you even to get in.
Yeah. So like I said, we're in Tucson, Arizona.
Learn how to drive.
People here also monsoon season when it rains. Nobody knows how to drive in the rain.
Nope.
Everybody slows down like by half of the speed limit. I'm like, dude, it's water.
You can still drive the speed limit.
Yeah.
So if
Just
the speed
don't be
limit,
dumb.
Yeah, the speed limit is 45. That doesn't mean you go 15. Like, just because it's raining. That's so annoying.
I could see 40, maybe even 35-ish.
Yeah,
15
depending on
sucks.
the visibility, yeah.
And what's funny is like you'll pass them up and they look at you like, "What the fuck are you doing? Drive the speed limit, bitch!"
You know what's funny?
He's
is
like, I got my tires
the
fixed.
speed limit for like 25 minutes.
just the road.
It's a big
in general.
gripe here.
Oh, I was
like,
gonna.
oh my god!
I was gonna say that. Why someone brought it up, like on a Joe Rogan podcast. I can't remember exactly what they were talking about. They're like, we are so easy to follow orders, and I was like, oh, okay, anyone can say that about any kind of country, because why, if we don't follow orders, we're gonna go to jail. But then I was like, oh wait, we're always following orders on the street. It's like the most basic thing. You see a light that's green, you can go. If you see a light that's red, you can't go. Well, maybe there's like that kind of control, very basic. If it's I forgot what I was bringing.
Also, guys, we've been drinking.
A little bit, maybe, but
Darn it! Well, no, I mean the point was like it's so much control, but we don't even realize it. We're just kind of following it.
yeah, you're conditioned for it.
Right.
Or it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
again, if you're on a country road and there's nobody around you, but you see a red light, do you run the red light?
You run it exactly. Vince.
Yeah, you're.
You know there's a cop hiding in the bush over there
Yeah,
on the
right.
street, man.
Because we all have that.
It's like that morality thing. Yeah. It's
we all have that thought that like, okay, so the one time I run this red light, I'm in trouble. Which is it sucks because like we're all brainwashed. Nobody ever likes to say that they're brainwashed, but we're all brainwashed to a sense.
It's crazy, but true.
Yeah, because like, stop signs, green lights, red lights, anything like that. If we feel like we're gonna break it, just at one time we're afraid or whatever. Because I remember one time I even said coming off the intersection, there's a red light. And I was, there's literally no one here. Why am I waiting?
Yeah.
Why am I waiting?
It's like
See,
the light.
that's where we're built different because I just straight up ran. When I came to that intersection, I'm like, oh, nobody's here? Sweet.
Why?
Yeah.
Get pulled over. You know why I ran it.
I know exactly when you
So
racist.
You know what we pulled you in? We got you over 5,252 times running through red lights. This is the
Okay.
553rd time.
First off, that's just reckless.
All I heard was, you don't like black people?
Yeah.
I'm a black cop. You working for the
That
man?
doesn't mean anything, Mrs. Officer.
Mrs. Officer.
No, I'm sorry.
wow.
Can they not be women?
I just don't think Mrs. Officer is like, your last name's Officer? All right.
That's right. I did it.
Whatever,
I
man.
assumed the gender.
Lil Wayne song, Mrs. Officer.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
That was way different though.
That happened to me a couple of times. Like when I worked at K-Gun, I worked the morning shift, so I'd be up on the streets at like 3 in the morning. I get a red light, and there's no one around. So I just be like, you know what, fuck it. I just would go through.
There you go.
Alright, they got both of you.
My
now.
man.
And there's no one around. It's like pitch black out.
Don't post that. No.
So it sounds like our biggest gripes are each other on the other side of the light.
Yeah.
What you mean you guys have been sitting here waiting? I'm gonna take off.
I gotta go somewhere.
Everybody's used to running red lights at 3 in the morning. And you're like,
Why are you running a red light, asshole? I don't believe in 3 in the morning. I think it's a government conspiracy. I sleep straight till 5.
Time to construct.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
p.m. by the way.
If I could.
And then that, yeah, when I was out in Grant one time, and there's a cop on the other side. There's a red light, and he flashes lights and ran through, and as soon as he cleared, he turned his lights off. and
See,
just
Yeah,
drove.
that's
they
what
do
Kylie
it,
was
yeah.
saying. That's her biggest gripe.
Yeah, because they have the power, to
Yep.
turn that light,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
I don't care.
Lead by example.
it's like
Yep.
super bad.
No, what if there's another reason for it? Like, what if they turn the light just because they needed to get through the light because the emergency's at the next spot?
No,
but
but
you
that's
can
the
choose
thing,
your
they'll
own
turn it
lights Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll turn it on, make
And
the
then
light
turn
turn
off.
green, and then turn the light off.
But
Because
what
they
if they're
didn't want to
turning
wait.
off, like, for, like, okay, so what if they're trying to get to that next spot, and the next spot, there's a burglar there, they don't want to, like, see the lights,
Nah,
they
they
want to
don't care.
get there, like, on the spot.
They wanna
should.
show their lights
Yeah,
when
because
they
the
get
lights
there.
are a deterrent.
And
So-
he's an optimist.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Like,
too many times.
I'm totally okay with cops going through red lights. It's when they seem to do it for no reason.
Yeah.
That's the.
It's like my guy.
All right,
like,
don't get mad at me when my
fishing.
tags are expired. Then.
I'm
That's all I'm
fishing.
saying.
Like my guy literally, as soon as he crossed the intersection, he turned his lights off and just went normal
Did you
speed.
follow him?
I was watching him
Like,
like,
I'm an ambulance chaser.
I'm gonna fuck this guy up.
Brought my camera, my Nightcrawler, just looking for like, a good shoot.
Yeah.
but no, to your
Want to see the dead body?
point, like if they were rolling up on like a robber, or their hope is like if the person was like, yo, take off running and stuff, it's like, oh, that guy's running, so that's gotta be my guy, and they'll go, chase after him.
And then flip on the lights. It's more cooler that way.
Yeah, and the guy's like,
There you go. I hate the whole like when there's been a couple times when like the ghetto birds are in the air because they're looking for somebody, and then I feel like they're just looking at me. It's like I'm at home. Like that, there's been times when they're like flying above us or whatever, and then like I feel like I'm under the spotlight.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
You're like
what?
waving to them. Hello.
Not committing crimes today.
They were like, we found Anthony. He's not the one we're looking for right now. All right, I'm just letting you know he's here. Wrong Anthony.
Don't tell anybody where I live. I got warrant. I mean, no, I don't.
Allegedly.
Terrible.
Yeah, what you guys got?
I guess what really bothers me, and it's something that I really experienced as a dental assistant, is not sharing the workload. Like,
Oh, that's anywhere.
if you're like, so like, for example, like, you're a dental assistant, I'm a dental assistant. However, in this type of setting, I'm seeing like 8 patients. You saw 2.
Mhm.
Don't be mad at me when I say fuck you at the end of the day.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, and it's there's a specific area, and Vince might remember it too because he was a part of it. He wasn't the one doing it, but it was. And I hope they're not listening. If they are, I'm sorry. I'm letting it air out, man.
Look,
He's not
we-
sorry.
Shout out.
I'm
Share
sure
with
we can
us.
call them out on their bullshit.
But it's more of like you're not going to share the workload. Yet you signed the same job description that I did. You accepted that responsibility. Yet you're the one dictating who can see what patient, and you give everybody else the patients. and you're just in the back pretending to be this self-proclaimed manager. I'm just like, okay.
Yes.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and in this setting, like in a lot of private practices, there are leads. I get that. There was no leads established in this practice.
Mm.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Do you think your higher ups are not putting enough effort into getting them to do their work?
At the time, yeah. We were going through. He was a brand new manager, and he was using more of like a fear factor to lead rather than leading by example.
For some people.
For some people, yeah.
Yeah, so not to interrupt you, I want to put this out because I don't know who's listening, but trying to rule people through fear doesn't work.
Does not
No.
work.
Especially with me, if you try to threaten me, well, you need to do this because, okay, fuck you. There's other jobs that I can go to. So that's never been a thing to me. And then I also realize that people always are all like, well, how come this person isn't doing this? Or how come this person isn't doing that? Well, number one, you're training them wrong. Number two, they're afraid to ask questions or to do anything because you trained them wrong and they feel like they're going to get fired. Because a lot of people don't take the aspect that people need these jobs. You know,
Exactly.
they're working under you. Whether that's why so many issues happen with as far as injuries at work is because somebody's working too hard or they're doing this wrong, this and that. Why? You didn't train them right, for one, and for two, they don't want to lose their job because they have to they have families and they have this and that. So they're just like, well, as long as I don't get hurt or as long as this doesn't happen, I'm fine, which is wrong. So stop ruling by fear. That shit doesn't work.
Yeah, ruling by servant leadership, and I mean, it's as simple as it states. Servant leadership. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your people, so your people take care of your business. That's management 101. And you can't take care of your people if your people are afraid of you. Bottom line.
People need to treat people as if not necessarily equals entirely, because obviously you're a supervisor, they're not, but treat them as humans because that's what they are. And then a lot of people get that aspect of where they're power hungry or they get in that power position, so now they feel like they can do whatever they want and then they don't have to do everything, so they put the workload on other people and they're like, well, why couldn't you get this? Well, I don't know, I'm one person, you have me doing 50 other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And especially your workers won't work for you if they're working in fear of you.
Exactly.
Where it's like, again, when those more difficult things come up or things like that, they're not going to be like, hey, I need to push through, we'll handle it, they got my back. They're going to be like, nah, fuck this. They're going to do enough where they won't get blamed for it. And then something's going to come up and it's more or less going to splash back on that leadership position because they're like, oh, well, why did this happen? And the employee will just wash their hands of it like, I did my part. They're not going to stand up for you.
yeah, because I feel like a lot of people don't get to know their employees. So if you get to know your employees, you'll know why they do this or why they do that, how they do this or how they do that, to where you can also play, like, if you're, some people take things where they need that forceful, like, push. Some people have that where they need to, you just joke with them and this and that. So if you don't know your employee, you can't teach them the right way, because if you learn their personality, it's easier to teach them. A lot of people get stuck in their ways to where they only feel like, well, this is how I teach, this is how I do this, and this is how I do that. You can't do that. Like, it's like you forget that every person has their own traits and every person has their own personality. You try to teach them because what may work for this person may not work for that person, and a lot of people forget that. And then they're like, well, this person's getting it, why don't you get it? Because I don't learn that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's, I learned that a lot, like, in school, is, like, if you're going to come down on me, I'm going to shut off completely, and I'm going to be scared of you, and I'll just go blank. I'll take whatever you give me, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to, like, accept it and, like, learn the aspects that you're trying to give, instead of saying, like, you did this wrong, you did this right, let's make it better.
Exactly.
So
like a sandwich
it's exactly like
Yeah.
how people learn. Like, if you're mean to me, I just shut off because I don't learn that way. Like, you have to explain it to me in a nicer, way, and then I'll accept it more and grow from it. But if you're constantly like just berating people, like you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, then they're gonna shut off and they're not gonna want to learn. Period.
I try to play on people's, like I said, personalities.
Yeah,
as far as
exactly.
And there's been times when I'm like, I'll be talking to my employees and this and that, and then like he'll joke with me, well, why are you this way? I said, you wanted the promotion, right? Yeah. You want to learn all that you can, right? Yeah. Well, this is why I'm saying it to you. I said, do you want this? Yeah. Then show me you want this.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it's like, I'm being forceful, but I'm not being forceful and say, to make them feel comfortable that I can do this. You know what I mean?
So I've had both situations. I always seem to have to bring it back to football, but in football when I'm training, you do get those coaches that will berate you and yell at you and everything. And most of the time, they're looking for you to rise up above that in those situations. And that has a certain culture where it works for that. But
some people don't.
Yeah.
Like that's
when you have to adjust.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The workplaces that I've been in, when it's not that competitive and things like that, I've had some people where I was training them or trying to teach them something, and I realized that they learn very differently from me, where they need to know every single detail, step by step, which way things need to be, how they need to be aligned and everything, to the point where it's like, I never even thought of that. And they'll ask me a question, and I'm like, just do it. Because they think very deeply about what they're doing.
Yep.
So, like I said, it's like you personalize it to them.
And I feel like that's good, because you are learning that person and learning that person is learning that particular way. Whereas you get those one people that are like teaching and they're like, no, this is how it goes because this is how I said it goes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there's always some, I don't know,
and people
some
get
trick or some different way that could be done. And
I get that a lot when like I'm doing something, I'll do something a different way, and they're like, "Oh, I never really thought about it like that." And then me, I'm just a smart ass. I'm like, I know. So, but sometimes you can be like that.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite. I don't do very much by the book. Even when I was first learning, it's like I used the book and everything and learned the correct way to do it. And it's like, so this is the result that we want, right? And then I'll come up with my own path to get to that area without breaking any laws, of course.
Yeah, that's how I always say, if it doesn't cause anybody, if it doesn't cause anybody any safety issues, if it doesn't cause you bodily harm, but yet you get the same results at a shorter time, then do it.
Yeah.
And but then you get those people that are old school that don't want to do that at all. They don't want to learn anything new.
You have to do it this way.
And they feel like because they've been in that position for X amount of time, they're over you.
They know everything.
Yeah, even though...
Which is not safe, because you don't ever know anything. I mean,
you
everything. You don't ever know everything. Yeah. So...
But that goes back to like a lot of people don't like to adjust because they've been taught. People are always trying to teach you to do things, but don't want to learn new things themselves that'll help them benefit. Because they feel like they've been in this area or they've been doing this for so long, it always worked for them. When somebody comes in, it could be the same exact way, but be like, hey, if we cut this step and this step out, this will happen, and it'll cut you back X amount of time. They're like, no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because they're used to it being a certain way, and that sucks. But yeah. All right, guys, that was interesting. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. We're gonna try to get back on this. We all are busy and have our lives and this and that, and some of us obviously you can see are in school, and some of us are DJ. So we're trying to make it so that we can get more of these out in our free time. But thank you for listening. We appreciate everybody that does listen, everybody that does subscribe. You guys keep being random. Live life. Be safe.
Get your snacks.
Yeah.
Cheesy snacks.